us on another episode of Ask Sharifah videocast. And today is going to be a very special show because I met this gentleman a little over a year ago. And when I first met him, he stood out to me. His authenticity, his sincerity was just a breath of fresh air. And I wish I could this is one of those shows where I wish I could do before and after. And if you could see this gentleman before and now seeing his after of who he is, what he's doing, oh, you would be blown away. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you to do what I always ask you to do, and that is to go ahead and share this interview because friends don't let friends miss out on Ask Sharifah. That's right. Come on in, tell a friend because we're getting ready to start the show and we are live. So if you have questions, if you have comments, please feel free to ask them in the comment section, and I'll go ahead and I'll read those to our guest. And today's guest is going to talk to us about energy healing. Good afternoon, Chris. How are you?
Good afternoon, Sharifah. I'm doing amazing. Thanks for having me here. My first ever interview, so this is pretty cool.
Yes, and see, your first interview and I didn't even do you justice. I just said, hey, Chris, I'm so used to you, your warm personality, and just everything. I didn't give you a proper introduction.
It's okay. Chris, it was beautiful, and it showed up the way it needed to.
Yes, Chris Pitko. So everyone, Krista is here. Hey, Krista, thank you for joining us. Jacob is here. Julie Howard is here. People are just starting to join us. Now, again, one of the things that I mentioned was the before and after. So, Chris Pitko, give your full name there. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about how your journey started.
My journey started. It actually started on March 12th, 1999, but I didn't know it at the time.
Okay.
I just was thriving in life, working a busy career as a CPA accountant, working 50, 60, 70-hour work weeks, then a social life, and then surfing and bike riding, going to the gym, just a very physical life too. And so at 28 years old, that's just what you do, or at least what I did. And then on that particular day, my body just crashed and went into a period of dizziness that it did not stop. And it just continued for months and months and would not go away no matter what I tried, medications, treatments, specialists, doctors, you name it. That's when my journey began.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned this dizziness, and you're so calm. You're like, oh, I was dizzy. You're to a certain extent, we're not getting the full impact of what happened when you were dizzy. Can you walk us through the first time that happened?
Yeah, I was visiting my brother for his birthday up in San Francisco, and we just sat down at the dinner table, ordering our food, getting drinks, just excited to spend a weekend with him to do surfing, mountain biking, just loving that city up there. And all of a sudden my head just kind of crashed onto the table, and that's when it started. And so there was, I mentioned, these months of dizziness that turned into fatigue and pain and all these myriad of symptoms to where my doctor said, you've got Epstein-Barr, you've got chronic fatigue syndrome, you have fibromyalgia, and we're just going to try all these different things to get you well. And so I went on this to try to keep it short, but how do you put 16 years of illness into a small little box interview here is I spent 10 years of that just searching for every answer, every specialist. I lived in Canada for 2 months. I gave myself daily injections. I did IV treatments, and it was just this constant searching for answers, needing solutions. And meanwhile, my life was passing me by. My friends were going off with their careers, and I started losing friends because I just was sick all the time. I had no energy. I couldn't work. So I was on disability, and I'm supposed to be, climbing the corporate ladder. And all of a sudden I'm in severe depression and anxiety and just suffering, just daily. It wasn't like it happened here and there. It was daily suffering. It never went away. I didn't even know what normal felt like for 13 years of that. Like there wasn't a moment where, oh yeah, I remember what that felt like. That feels healthy. It never got to that place. So it was a very lonely place. And then because of my particular illness is that I looked fine on the outside. So people just kind of assumed I was well or healthy. What do you do? And It was, but on the inside, I was kind of felt like I was dying.
No, that is horrible. So, Chris, we have a couple more people that joined us. Rachel Domino, Banner, Robin Reed Rubio, and of course, Sandy Chastain says, hey there. So people are definitely here to support you.
Oh, I love it.
And your journey, and you're taking that first step to be a little bit more outspoken about what you do and step out of your comfort zone. So we definitely applaud you on that. When you were speaking about what you were going through, one of the things that I noticed is that you said that the doctors were trying everything. So it was part of the depression, the fact that you really had no idea what was going on, along with the actual physical symptoms that you had?
Perfect. Yeah, that's what it is I had all these symptoms, this bucket of symptoms, all these labels, but yet there was no known cause of it or cure for it, as they would put it. And it was all these different theories out there of what it could be. But I tried. They just threw every medication at me. Even I took medication that people took for Parkinson's or schizophrenia and other types of illnesses just to see if it would work. Just kind of, let's just try this because we've tried everything else. And I was just never going to give up. I was hopeless. I was very honest that I was hopeless, which brought in this severe depression and another dark side that I don't know that I want to touch into today, but it took me to a very dark place for a long, long time. Because when you keep trying something, and you're going to all these specialists. Even I flew to New York and spent time with a functional medicine doctor who was on Katie Couric and Dr. Oz. And I'm like, oh, this is the guy. Like, he's going to fix me. He's going to get my life back. And, $15,000 later, nothing changed. And so that was for over this 13-year period, that was what it was. It was try one more thing, be let down. And nothing stuck, nothing maintained, nothing got an improvement. There were a few things that helped, but nothing took me to this next level that I've achieved today. And so it was just this long process of just daily, like not wanting to go to bed at night because I knew if I woke up the next day, it was going to look like that again. And that was just a really tough place for me to live, and especially given my background of wanting to work, wanting to exercise and surfing, which was my passion. All these things, like my life just kind of got put on hold. So
Chris, tell us about your support group. I mean, because so often people say it's their support group, their loved ones, their friends, their family that help get them through that situation. Now there's a Anthony Pitko who says, hi, bro, love you. So tell us about your support group that's around you.
Yeah, that's my bro. He was the one I was visiting up in San Francisco when this started. So he's watched this entire journey. He knows all the background. And so him, my mom, they were the ones that came around me when I lost all hope. And actually, I want to say this, I believe I'll follow my intuition because there might be some viewers who are at this place or may know someone at this place. But I got to a place where I just didn't think it could ever change. And I made a decision that I'm not going to live like this. Like, I don't want to keep getting up to fight this fight if I can't fix this, if no doctors can fix this, or there aren't any answers. And I also, through this time, I was doing all alternative. I did energy healing. I did acupuncture, meditation. I tried everything across the board, homeopathic, everything. And not to say anything bad about it. It was all part of my journey and experience. But I got to a place where I actually had to go to my mom and say, if I leave you now, I'm done. Like, I won't be here anymore. And so she went into action, and friends around me knew that it was a desperate situation. And they rallied around me to just help keep me here. And it took a lot of courage for me to stay here. But I did. And then there were chronic fatigue syndrome support groups at the time that I went through, and that was helpful. Online, there were different chat rooms to other people suffering. I mean, this was an illness that was worldwide, and it didn't pick you out if you did something wrong. It just, you had it. So there were so many people that were going through the same thing as me. So that helped me not feel so alone, but yet I felt miserable every day.
So what finally happened? When did relief finally step in for you?
You know, it started with this one moment where January 2nd, 2015, I remember these dates. See, I'm a CPA, so my background helps me remember things.
March
Although
12th,
if you'd
and
ask,
then
yeah, but if you'd asked me these questions, literally back in those times, my brain fog was so severe that I wouldn't be able to, like, it'd just go blank and I wouldn't be able to answer some of these questions. But on that day, January 2nd, 2015, I just woke up and kind of said to myself, and I can't remember if it was out loud or inside my head, and I said, I'm so sick and tired of hearing your story, Chris. I'm so sick and tired of hearing you complain. And it was like this wake up call. Like, I don't normally speak like that. And I caught myself off guard. And then all of a sudden these doors started to open. It was just this next progression. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand at the time. And then all of a sudden I was introduced to some different perspectives about healing and illness and symptoms. I started to receive this energy work that maybe some of your viewers will experience today if we have time to do that. And all of a sudden, things started to change, like not gradually, but kind of quickly, where my normal fears started to fade. My energy started to come back. I even got my mindset in a place where I need to test this out, because I was I need to test everything. I need proof. And I was told, again, I was just told this. I didn't believe it at the time, but I was told that my symptoms weren't the problem. And that's hard to hear when you have 10, 15 symptoms and they're causing you to suffer and you can't work and all these things, and you don't have your life. And I had children at the time, and I couldn't even read books to them. It was so exhausting. Like I just felt like a failure. I felt like a loser. I was on the other dads were playing catch with their kids. I was on the couch. I was in bed. I was laying down because I had no energy. My head felt like 300 pounds. And so as I experienced this energy work, it was different than anything I'd ever experienced. And all of a sudden, these symptoms that I told you about, I just went running one day. I went out my house. I just started running down this path, and it felt like I was dragging anchors behind me because my legs were no condition to run. And I just kept telling myself, keep running, just keep doing this. And I was calling on like God and the trees and the plants, just give me energy to do this. And I came back to my house, and believe me, I was exhausted. But all of a sudden I realized I was stretching instead of crashed out on the ground. It made no sense. My mind made no sense to that. Like, why are you not just completely obliterated on the ground right now? And I was stretching, and that was a turning point. I said, there's something to this. And so I began to do more deeper inner work. I began to make connections between, if my symptoms aren't the problem, then let's find out what the problem was. And it was deeper than those symptoms. There were roots that caused the symptoms. Like, something created the symptoms. So let's not treat and try to fix the symptoms, even though they're horrible. Let's go to the root cause. Let's find out why this started in the first place. And as I unraveled this health puzzle, so to speak, I started to get answers, and my body started to change. My health changed. My mind kind of came back. And within probably, and receiving this energy work, within 3 months, I was actually working. I was helping the person that trained me do this energy work, and I was kind of back in society. It was amazing.
Now, one of the things that you mentioned is you started receiving energy work, and then you ran and you had your health back and you were in a much better position. But take us back to how you heard about the energy work and what you were feeling when you decided to initially try it.
Perfect. Yeah. So for the people out there that are either spiritual or have a belief in something bigger than themselves, call it God, source, creator, universe, higher power, whatever you want to, that was involved. It had to be, because I was checking emails at the time, and every day, this is before I started to feel anything. And I started to just delete emails. Like, I have no energy to even open an email. Like, if I open an email and read a paragraph, it makes no sense to the viewers out there. Or if you've always been healthy, it makes no sense. But that was like running a short marathon. Like, it just wore me out. And so every day I was just deleting these emails, and I got onto this telesummit list. And I think it was called Healing with the Masters. And one day, I don't know why, I clicked on one, opened the email, and even read it. And beyond that, I called into the show. Again, divine intervention, whatever you want to call it. That wasn't me doing that. There's no way. And I heard this woman speaking and talking about this, talking about illness in a way I've never heard before. And it was different than what my doctors were saying. It was different than what WebMD and Google and everybody was saying about chronic fatigue syndrome and symptoms. And I just took a leap of faith and joined her program and started to hear the truth about what was going on. And I had a choice. I could either believe this person who's a random stranger, you know, that maybe is they just doing it for money? But I chose to follow something that my heart was telling me, just listen, just take another step, take another step. And that's what I kept doing, was taking another step. And it's just led me on this amazing journey.
Yes, and if you are just now tuning in to Ask Sharifah videocast, we are speaking with Mr. Chris Pitko, and we have quite a few people who are coming in. Krista is telling us that she loved it. She wrote love it, Chris, as far as what you were saying. Ryan Austin joined us. Jen Perlman joined us. Melissa Bronell. So people are definitely joining us. Wow. And again, we are speaking to Chris Pitko. Now we're speaking about his journey which will take us even further into what he's doing now. But if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please feel free to add those to the comment section, because we definitely want to hear from you. Krista says, thank you, Chris, for following the steps. So yes, I know exactly what that means. You know, so often we hear the steps, we receive the steps, but do we actually follow the steps?
Yeah. What's next? Exactly. I'm emotional. I just need to be on. I'm emotional right now as you're reading these names. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's just me connecting with these people in a way that we cannot see, we cannot measure. And that's kind of my life. Believe me, the life I'm living now is not the CPA accountant, you know, left brain, linear thinking life. And it's so different, but it's so beautiful at the same time. And so my heart is just like, it's just blowing up right now. And I love it. So for anyone who's listening or listens even to a replay of this, thank you for being here, because that's what I had to do. Literally, if I had not called into that telesummit, if I did not hear those words, I don't know where I would be now. I'm not saying it would be better or worse, but this has been magical. And it's now that I can look back, at the time, believe me, Sharifah, at the time, I had no idea what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. I did not plan to become a healing practitioner or a healer or have an office. And I did not plan any of this. It was not in the cards. It was not anything that I even anticipated doing. I was supposed to go back to accounting because that's the trade I knew. Mm-hmm. But here we are.
Yes, but it's just, when you're speaking, it just reminds me of that joke that says, how do you make God laugh?
Yeah, make plans, right?
Right, you tell them your plans. And so you're sitting here like, I was supposed to be at this, I was supposed to do that. And God's like, you just wait and see, you know? So I feel the emotion here. I feel the love. I always feel the love from the people in the tribe. Sandy says, we love you, Chris. So proud of you for stepping into your power.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandy. I love that.
Yes. So you have a lot of people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. At some point, I just want to share, you had mentioned a name earlier, Robin Rubio. Yeah. She's part of my journey. Can I share it right now?
Absolutely.
Ooh, now I'm going to get emotional. So she was my neighbor. She lived across the street from me, and she owned a yoga studio. And she would always tell me about, like, come in and do yoga. It'll help you out and all the support. But I never had the energy. Like, my heart wanted to. And for anybody who's listening who has health issues and illness or dis-ease and wants to do things, but their body won't let them, but everyone else thinks you can because you look fine, just keep staying on this and listen to this, because that's where I was. And so she was patient with me, and she's like, okay, I understand. But she trusted. She didn't push me. She just said, I trusted. And when I was doing this energy training, when I just kind of, again, I took this next step, and I got well, and I was about to go back to accounting, and I kind of had, I had interviews lined up, like literally had interviews lined up to go do consulting work. And all of a sudden my back went out. And I'm like, well, I I literally threw out my back to where I couldn't even move. And I'm like, I can't sit in a chair. I can't do an interview. So somehow divinely delayed it, right? At the time, it was like the worst thing ever. Like, I need to get a job, but it just pushed it back. And all of a sudden it was like this, what if I'm here to do something bigger? What if I'm here to do something more? And that's when I just started following this guidance and the next guided step. And so I took this training. It was called biofield healing training to learn how to do this. And I literally only did it there were some people in my neighborhood who had health issues. So I'm like, oh, help them and I'll maintain myself. But I figured I was done. Like I just expected, I'm healthy now. I'm good. I don't need anything anymore, but I'll just do this for maintenance. And Robin was one of the first people. I just said, hey, do you mind if I practice this thing on you? Like, I don't know if I don't know much about it or anything, but let me just try. And she's like, yeah, sure. And she had a profound experience, and that's her story to tell. I won't share that now, but she had this profound experience, and so did I. I mean, my hands got warm. I was like, all this stuff happened. And a few steps forward, I was telling her, gosh, I think I should just go back to accounting because I don't know what to do and I don't have a space to do this work. And she's like, you know what? I've got an empty space in my yoga studio. Why don't you just set up there? You can put your massage table there. You can see people.
Wow.
So, right. Like, look how that showed up for me. And so Robin is like this integral part of my journey because it's like the person who starts their job in the garage, right? Like, I got to start in this beautiful yoga studio in Rancho Santa Margarita. And I always have this. And that's where meeting people that I've never met before received true healing and magical, big health changes. And that solidified for me, this is what I need to do. I can't walk away from this. I can't go back to accounting. I don't know what this is going to look like, or I don't know anything really. I've never been a business owner. I don't know what to do, but people's lives are being changed, and that's important.
Oh, wow. But I think the one thing that I'm picking up from your interview, if nothing else, is that you are being led. You know what I mean? And all you have to do is just follow. We have Annette Lowe, who says, divinely guided. That's what she said. Elizabeth Jackson joined us. Sherry Nick joined us. My cousin Latasha Summers is watching. She said, look at God. So you are definitely moving people and inspiring people. But I'm gonna take it back some more because I think to a certain extent, I want to really show the steps it took for you to actually feel better. I know you said you just started running like on Forrest Gump. You just got up one day and started walking. But initially, before the whole, I'm just going to start running one day by myself, what was the first thing that you noticed that you even attempted to do that you, aside from running, that you had some results? Like all of a sudden, you're like, wow, my mind is clear, or what were some of the initial steps?
I think one of the ones that steps out to me right now is literally making a bowl of cereal for breakfast. Now that seems like trivial. What are you talking about, Chris? How can that be a change? Like, that's the easiest thing, right? Put down bowl, pour a box, pour milk, you're done. There was so much anxiety. I was anxiety ridden with everything I did. Didn't matter what I did. I had anxiety, tremendous anxiety. Just making a bowl of cereal was not normal. There was worry, like, was this going to wear me out? Because there were experiences early on in my illness that literally getting up from the couch, making a bowl of cereal, eating it, putting it in the sink, going back down. I'd lay on the couch for 30 minutes as though I just was Forrest Gump running around a lake. Like, that makes no sense to most people, but that was my experience. And that's how my body reacted to any physical exertion. So even so all of a sudden I realized the anxiety was less. Like, I just felt it was a little easier to just do a basic step like making breakfast. And then it turned into like to even run an errand. See, I had to run an errand meant I had to decide, is it worth running the errand and crashing and spending a day or two on the couch or in bed and not having energy for my kids or myself? Or is that errand really, really important that I got to get it done? Like, those were my choices. And so those started to get a little bit easier. I noticed some days I went on an errand and forgot to think about how this is going to affect me. So it was subtle, but it was like this, oh my gosh, there's this clarity, like you mentioned, clarity. So some things just got a little bit easier. And I did know, because my energy was always such at a low place, this really heavy fatigued,
Mm-hmm.
when my fatigue started to lessen, it was more obvious to me. I could really just feel it. It wasn't like I had to do something. I just noticed I'm feeling better, and I wasn't crashing as much. I wasn't taking those naps as much. So there's all these little pieces that kind of came together to show me that I'm moving in the right direction, that something is happening. I can't explain it. That's what I couldn't explain it. I wasn't taking pills. I wasn't doing treatments. I was doing inner work and receiving this energy healing modality.
Okay, so Annette Lowe says biofield healing is truly life-changing.
Yeah, I met her through the program. So it's beautiful that she's on today.
Yes, yes, allowing you the opportunity to be able to share your story. So you said you weren't on any pills. You mentioned you didn't have to do any treatments. So what was the process? Like, do you do 30 days of meditation, or, what are some of the you mentioned earlier, you might be able to show us an energy healing. Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me share a little bit here. Let me look at from the perspective of me working on someone, so I can use it from that as opposed to me receiving. So when someone comes to me and has any type of chronic health condition, it's ongoing. My clients come to me with a laundry list of things they've already done: Eastern, Western, alternative. Things I've never even heard of.
Mm-hmm.
And they too show up hopeless. And so we have this discovery session where I can start understanding where they are and what they're going through. And sometimes there's just even subconscious patterns and blocks. Like, it may not even be a full-blown illness. It doesn't have to be. But when you just keep going through life and you're stuck, or you're frustrated and have anxiety or depression or whatever you're going through, that's just, you're not living your best life. You're not flowing. You're not thriving. Like, there's something in the way. And so I have them just receive this energy healing it's kind of like, I call them like a 20 to 25 minute session, where, like, if they have a full session, they come in my office, or even could be done over the phone. And for anyone that doesn't make sense to, that's okay. We're going to do that today, so you'll experience it.
Okay.
Energy, it's divine intelligence. It's smart. It knows what to do. It knows where to go. It knows how to heal. I just bring it in. And so I'll work with someone once a week. They come in maybe for an hour appointment, or even less than that, just to receive the energy healing. I'll talk a little bit, support them through it, guide them on what's happening, help them understand, because it's something new. It's a brand new experience. Most people, I have people that come to my workshops and are Reiki masters, and they've experienced all this energy healing, and they go, wow, yours is really powerful. It goes deeper. Like, I'm healing stuff I didn't even know was there. Mm-hmm. And so for someone to receive it, as they receive it each week, it anchors in. So to get a little bit scientific, if I can,
absolutely.
There's this, we've heard of our aura, and we have energy. We are energy. Einstein proved it. Everything is energy. So let's just trust it and believe him. And there's this field of energy and information around us. And so in this field, which can be called the quantum field, the biofield, the torsion field, it was discovered in the 80s by these Russian scientists. And there's quantum physicists, like the greatest minds on our planet right now, are still trying to figure this out, still testing this. And so this energy is in this field where I believe everything is possible, anything is possible, because it's bigger than us. If you believe we're just flesh and bones, then you're just not getting the full picture. We have a soul. There's a larger part to us that we cannot see, we cannot touch. Our senses, our mind cannot grasp it. And so as someone receives this energy work, it like just keeps healing them. Now, again, healing them in the way that's natural. I don't force it. They're not doing mantras. There's no meditation. I don't do any chanting. I'm not saying, let's get rid of their pain. Let's heal them. It literally knows what to do. And so as a client continues to work with me once a week, sometimes they work with me for 1 month, sometimes it's 2 to 3 months, but I have people there's a woman who just started working with me, and she says, Chris, I don't understand it. Every time I'm in your office, I have no pain in my hip. Like, I have no hip pain when I'm in your office, but outside of here and when I'm doing things, it's like a 5 out of 10. So there's just, it's an energy, it's a vibration, it's a frequency, and it's beautiful, and it's really intelligent. So it knows the order to heal. And so everyone's healing shows up in an order that, I'll say this, is best for them. Not what I think is best, not what they think is best. Because I have clients who tell me, like, I just heard this the other day, they were still frustrated that they had symptoms, but all of their fear was gone. Listen to that, Sharifah.
Right.
She told me she lived a fear-based life, meaning everything was in fear: finances, family, health. And she says, I still have my nose problem, my mouth problem, my thyroid problem, but she says, I have no fear. And I'm like, well, isn't that important? Mm-hmm. Could that have been more important than getting rid of the physical? So it shows up, it's time that's, needed for them. And that's what makes it so beautiful in this process. So yeah, it's each week I will do energy healing either remotely or in my office, and they receive it. It's really cool.
Wonderful. So Jacob Morris here, he says, thank you, Chris, for sharing your experiences.
Oh, you're so welcome, Jacob. Thank you for being here. Gosh, I'm hearing all these names I don't know. This is a blessing. This is incredible.
You don't know them, but a lot of people here, I can definitely tell you about them because they're a part of the tribe. Jacob is definitely a part of the tribe, and he's always willing to support and to help. And I met him at a lunch bunch. So
awesome.
Yes.
That's how I met you.
Yes. See, got all that Sandy Chastain lunch bunch love going here. I can tell you examples about almost everyone. So you were going to give us an example of energy healing?
Would you like whoever's watching to experience it?
Yes.
You want to do it now? Okay. So let me just kind of guide you in, and I want you to receive too. So for anybody that's listening, tuning in, please, if you're driving, literally take your earpiece out. Don't go through this while driving. It's that powerful. So either pull over if you want to receive, or just kind of pull your earbud out or whatever, turn it down, because the energy comes through. And we're in a group like this, so we're all connected. And all I ask people is to, if they can lay down or sit down, close your eyes, just gently close your eyes. And there's nothing you need to do. Like, there's nothing you need to do to receive this. You don't have to be spiritual, religious, or anything. You don't have to know what I'm doing. You don't have to understand what I'm doing. But just gently close your eyes and notice your breath. Just bring your attention to your breath right now. This is not hypnosis, so don't worry. Just receiving love and energy. It's what we're made up of. It's what keeps the stars in the sky. And just bring your attention inside your body now. Just if it's quiet around you and you're resting and relaxing, and just keep breathing. Just notice anything that you experience inside you. Like, take your senses inside your inner experience. Notice if you see colors or shapes or images. Sometimes they show up even though our eyes are closed. We just see our eyelids, but sometimes other things show up. Notice if you feel something physically. You could feel some pressure somewhere, or what just feels like energy that you don't know how to explain. That's okay. You might feel sudden cold or warmth. A lot of people's stomachs start talking and gurgling and moving because it's energy. It's just moving energy in your field and around your body. Just notice your thoughts. Just be an observer. Like I said, let me do all the work. And if you're having health issues right now, just relax and just receive. You've earned it. You deserve it. You deserve healing. It's possible. It's here. Solutions are here. And I'm just going to let it be quiet for just a few minutes, Sharifah. Just a few minutes, and then I'll bring everybody back soon. But just notice this experience, a brand new experience. Everyone's doing beautiful. Just allow yourself to keep experiencing. And so slowly now, just slowly begin to deepen your breathing and hear the sound of my voice. Just slowly take a breath in and a breath out. As you become more awake and alert, more aware, and take one more slow, deep breath all the way in and up. Beautiful breath in and out. And just begin to slowly open your eyes or move your fingers, your toes to help bring you back. If you went deep, some of you might have gone a little deep, and I can see Sharifah is still deep, and so she's trying to come back.
Yes, I'm right on time. I'm right back. That felt good.
So tell me, what did you experience?
What I experienced, and this was the weirdest thing because I'm trying to listen to you and pay attention, but I have you can't see it, but I have my fan on, right? But it just seemed as if it was like air coming from everywhere, not just the fan. I just like this weird feeling. Like I just felt like there was air everywhere fanning me. I felt nice and cool.
Yeah, good. And so everybody has their own experience, and it doesn't mean like I don't expect everything like this. I don't have this magic wand where all of a sudden, boom, Sharifah has no more fear, no more worries. Like right. She's an entrepreneur and she just like goes crazy, right?
I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah, that's right. That's what I do.
You know, and so you still may need more clarity. It's just healing. If you have anything else to share, share it. Because I know there's people there, or if you want to tell people to put it in the comments so people can read later. If you felt something, if you noticed something, if pain lessened. I mean, I've had people literally from something like that where their pain just goes away. Like it happens for people. It's incredible. I can't explain it. I can, but it's whether it's just that person's time. It just shows up. And so I want to say what healing is, because to me, I always thought healing meant getting rid of the symptoms, getting rid of the problem, fixing somebody, curing someone, right? That's what we've been told. Again, a lot of this has been what we've been told. And I started to learn things that I wasn't told, but it doesn't mean it's not true. And so healing for me is having a new perspective. You know, any experience or circumstance in your life, you can look at it more than one way, right?
Right.
You can see it from a different angle. And which one makes you feel better, right? So you just keep going in this direction towards something that's more true for you. So healing is consciousness. It's awareness. It's having like if you had the awareness, like I had the awareness that.
Chris, you know what I'm saying? I did not mean to interrupt and be rude and start laughing in the middle of your interview, but I've never had the comment section just go bing, 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 bing. All of a sudden, everybody is telling you. Latasha says, wow, I've seen hearts and diamonds. She said it was a great feeling. She had a feeling of peace.
Oh,
Annette says she felt tingling all over her head.
Yeah.
Okay. So Krista says, I am driving, but my shoulder pain from my workout yesterday is gone. And then Jacob says, pain lessened, lots of different flowing sensations throughout different parts of the body and feeling at peace in my mind. And then he had put the hands in a smiley face. And Latasha said, wow, in awe.
So beautiful. I don't have words for it other than that is so beautiful. And that is so, Sharifah, that was like 3 minutes.
Yes.
And no one's in my office right now. Like, I don't even know where these people are. I don't even know all the names, but they received it. So I'm not a quantum physicist. I'm not going to sit here and explain what happened. I have an understanding of it, but just the takeaway for anyone who experienced anything, even if it's just tingling in the head like Annette, but she already knows this, is it just says something happened. Like, you don't have to go, what did it fix? Like for some people, like Krista, her pain went away. Or Jacob, it lessened, and that happens. And that was just such a, like, I literally that's like hardly working, right? My sessions are so much longer, so it gets so much deeper. But just know that something is taking place, that something is possible, because how is this possible? Like, we could have our own show just to try to figure out what just happened.
Yes, that's interesting. Definitely have to do that show again. If anyone is just now tuning in, we have been speaking with Mr. Chris Pitko. He was sharing his journey of having chronic fatigue syndrome, how staying in the bed on the couch for hours and days, and how he used energy healing to help. Is the word heal himself? Is it heal yourself, Chris?
Oh, I created a program called the Awaken and Heal Program.
Okay.
But really the way I looked at healing, because my journey has changed too, where I have a different perspective of healing now too, where I'm not here to say I'm healing people. I'm a guide. I'm helping them heal themselves. I'm helping them find and discover the root cause of their illness or dis-ease, or their blocks, whether they're emotional or physical blocks, subconscious patterns. These are things that just start to release when they receive this energy healing. It's just unbelievable. It just goes deeper. I mean, I have so many clients who say, I've been in therapy for years, and knock-to-knock therapy, because it saved my life many times. But they'll say, I never went this deep before. Like, so I guide them to their soul. I guide them to their truth, their inner truth, what's in their heart, what's underneath all this that's created this kind of this dis-ease that has created frustration and anxiety and just daily struggle and suffering, and it shows up as physical pain. So when I learned the truth, that healed me. So again, yes, I'm bringing in a healing energy. Yes, I'm facilitating this. Yes, I'm guiding them and talking to them and pulling out this information, but they're doing the work by showing up, by being willing. And that's all this takes, Sharifah. That's what's so beautiful about this, is that I tell everybody, it only takes willingness and openness. You show up, you say yes. Oh my gosh, I just drove behind a car today on the way here to my office. And guess what the license plate said?
What does it say?
Team yes.
Team yes. I love that, because we definitely have a team here saying yes. Krista says, Chris, you are a freaking rock star healer. That's what Krista said. Jacob said, thank you, Chris, for being yourself and for sharing your love into the world. That was Jacob. And Anthony Pitko says, I was driving back to work and it removed all my work anxiety. You have the gift, bro. Yeah. See, we got all these people driving. Okay, Krista, Anthony, got to make sure we're careful when we're driving and we doing the woo-woo. We got to be careful. It's all woo-woo.
Yeah. I've got tears right now hearing my brother say those words, because, man, he saw me at my worst. You know, he's seen me at my best. We've been on surf trips around the world before I got sick, and then he just saw my life go away. And I think there were times where he wasn't sure that I was going to still be here. And he's become my biggest supporter. Like, when you talk about who's around you, he has shown me more love and more support and more guidance and more like urging me to keep doing this path, because starting a healing practice, and, you know, I'm not Starbucks. I'm not on every corner. And so it's not easy to understand. It's not people's first choice. It's not their first step. They're not their first phone call. But if it was, it could alleviate a lot of suffering. But my brother's just been there. And so I love him so much. So, he's on this call, like he has a job, but he's watching this. It's amazing.
Oh, that's almost like you need a big virtual hug for that one. That was that was you and your bro right there. That was so wonderful. And Sandy says, I've had a really rough few days dealing with some PTSD issues. You helped shift some energy I have been releasing. Thank you. So that was Sandy. So even in that brief amount of time, look how much help you've done, how much good you've done to just be able to move and shift some of that energy. So again, everyone else, Anthony Pitko says, huge virtual hug. That is so sweet. Like, you guys are the best. I haven't even met Anthony yet, but I just love like your camaraderie. It's wonderful. Tammy just came in to the chat room. So if anyone, we are coming down to the last few minutes of the show. If anyone has any questions, has any comments, this is an excellent time to be able to ask Chris Pitko about his journey, about what he has coming up, or just any questions or comments you may have, because we've definitely been commenting throughout this show. Annette Lowe says, smiling ear to ear. So, hey, the people here today are definitely supporting you in this initial step that you're taking. Now, while we see if we have any more questions or comments, I'm going to ask you a question.
Of course.
Chris, what is your typical client that you work with like? Are they someone who's in extreme pain? Maybe it's something more mental as far as, maybe depression. What happens when people just say, you know what, I need Chris or Chris's services? What does that usually look like?
Yeah. So a lot of times people find out through me. I do workshops. I live in Orange County, and I do workshops at a local holistic store called Awakenings. They also have Visions and Dreams. And so it's just an opportunity to share who I am, what I do, and to help really bring the truth, because I was sick for over a period of 16 years. I was very sick for 13, 14 of them. And so I didn't have the solutions. I didn't have the answers. And I tried everything, and I read every book, and I did every, by the greatest authors out there, and it just didn't come to me. So these workshops are this wonderful opportunity to experience this energy healing live, and to hear my story and to show people that you can get better. So people show up from everything from daily fatigue to pain, whether it's degenerative arthritis pain, whether it's fibromyalgia pain, autoimmune like lupus and Hashimoto's disease. I've had people come to me with stage 4 cancer. I mean, just like their life's on the line. Severe depression, suicidal depression, anxiety, panic. I mean, it's literally across the board. And then there's some people that come to me that go, I want to be preventative, or I love energy healing, and I just want things to just flow and get clarity. And you don't have to be sick to benefit from this work. And so as they start receiving it, there was a woman not too long ago who came in and she had pain. She's in her 60s and had pain 8 to 10 every day, like her hip and her side and her back. And her doctor says, you need surgery. And she's like, I don't want to do surgery. I just don't want to do that. So, and I never know what's going to happen. I'm not just like, oh yeah, sure, it's going to go away. And so after 6 weeks, she's like, my pain from 8 to 10, and I'm skipping some time here, but by the 7th week, 6th, 7th week, she's like, it's down to a 3 to 4. And she's like, I was doing yoga the last couple nights, and I'm on the Parks and Rec's website thinking of like trails to walk. And I'm like, do you hear yourself? Like, you weren't doing this stuff 3 weeks ago. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're right. This change is subtle. People they just, all of a sudden, it's like their new normal. They're just starting to have more move, because when you have less pain, you feel better. And so it just starts this momentum of healing and growth. And so, I mean, there's people who've told me, said, my depression vanished. What happens now?
Yes.
What do you do?
You have to be happy.
Yeah. And so sometimes, again, I'm not here guaranteeing and saying this is going to happen to everybody, but I'll tell you, everybody shifts, everybody changes. There's always something showing up in ways bigger than we could even imagine. I wouldn't even have time to even touch on some of these stories, but lives have changed. They've been transformed. I received a beautiful letter from a client recently who said, you gave me my life back. And she was trying, when I met her, she was trying to take her life.
Oh, wow.
Like I got a call from the hospital saying, I'm on a 5150 hold because I just tried to take my life. She stuck with it. She kept showing up, and now she's doing things that just blow her mind, that she has her life back. And so many of these things changed and healed for her. And it just keeps showing me like what's possible for people. And so for anybody who's just stuck, suffering, struggling, or knows someone who's just can't get the answer, then just contact me, call me, email me, go to my website. Can I say it here just so people know about it? Or
give it to them.
Beautiful. So www.awakenandhealprogram.com, which is AWAKEN and healprogram.com. And you can subscribe, you can send me an email just to start. I always like to just have a conversation with someone. Like, let's just find out what the heck's going on. Like, I don't sit here and say, oh, you need to do my Awaken and Heal program. Like, I'm going to heal you. I just want to know where you're at and what you want so we can work together to get you there. Mm-hmm. I'm a guide. And I'm also a farmer. I plant a lot of seeds of awareness and consciousness and growth and truth. I help people get their power back. Mm-hmm. You probably know a little bit about that. Like, this is, one of my favorite stories was a woman who went to that yoga studio. The very first client I ever had who I did not know personally, so I didn't know if they would trust me. Systemic lupus, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, similar story as mine, same kind of response in lifestyle. And after a few weeks, she's like, I don't even identify with my illness anymore. It's like, it's just not even there. And she's just completely changed. She loves herself. She's like, I have my power back. Like, she said, I'm not a people pleaser anymore. I love who I am. I'm not searching for, like what's this, like we need from society. I'm not searching for like that approval. Mm-hmm. And so again, healing can show up more. It's bigger than symptoms. It always is.
Okay. So you said your website, your telephone, your email, your social media. What else are we going to give out?
So my phone number is 949-328-3202. That's my work. I have an office in Mission Viejo, and I love to see people in person. But the beautiful thing is everyone experienced tonight is that you don't have to be in person. Like, if you're too far away, I don't want someone driving 2 hours or an hour and a half. They have, but I prefer you to be at home and relax. And just like the woman whose pain went from a 8 and 10 down to 4, she lives by the beach. She never drove in. We just did everything by the phone. So it's beautiful. And anyway, the cool thing, I'll just share this, I just thought of this, is that people that have animals, like dogs and cats, love this energy. Like, they just start like jumping on the bed and like curling up next to the people. And so people are like, so I've had people's pets, while I'm healing them or working with them, their pets have these own experiences, and they like had problems, and they heal too. It's just this, something I never could have dreamed of.
Yeah, they sound so much more interesting than being an accountant.
just a little bit.
Just a little bit more flair. Now, we asked for questions. We got a couple of them. Sandy says, Chris, are you free on Sunday, May 26th, Memorial Day weekend? Body Studios is helping me host a veterans event to help with anxiety and depression and PTSD. It's from 10:30 to 3. Join us.
Remember the license plate, Team Yes?
We're on Team Yes, Chris?
We're on Team Yes.
Yay. See, I've never had this happen on I don't know, maybe I have. But hey, we just booked a gig for you, help some people out, change some lives. So that was Sandy asking about a workshop, whereas Krista says, what workshops do you have? Virtual is just as powerful as in person. So Krista wants to know, what are some of the workshops that you offer?
So they have been in person, but I'm stretching, I'm expanding. I'm meeting with a yoga studio owner today to go to another place, because I just want to impact more people. Like, this is about making a bigger impact in people's lives. Because when I was sick and suffering, I hated every moment, every day of it. It was excruciating. Some days better than others, but the thought of anyone going through that and not being able to figure it out and not being able to get better and enjoy their life. Like, we don't have time to discuss all the things that have changed in my life. Like, it was so much bigger than the symptoms going away. So to go back to Krista's question, can anyone show me how to be more out there? Can someone guide me to make more of an impact, virtual or whatever? Lead me to some other places, because I mean, just for the short time today, some people's lives changed enough to make them go, what's with this? Like, if that can change, then maybe more is possible. So I'm open to more ideas, but I know Facebook Live is going to be probably a new thing for me. So just kind of stay with me, keep following me. And if you're in Orange County, then find out where my workshops are, and I'll give you the information. I'd love to help anybody. Okay,
so what's your business page?
My business page is, I make it easy. Everything's Awaken and Heal Program. So it's you mean on Facebook business page?
Yes.
So it's just like my personal page, but it's Chris Pitko, founder of the Awaken and Heal Program. So I think once you put in Chris Pitko, you'll see that, but it's founder of the Awaken and Heal Program. And that's where I'm starting to post more stuff. Eventually I want to get into doing videos, and I'm going to be doing it. My brother's going to help me with a YouTube channel. Like, I just want to get out there. And I think saying yes to you, Sharifah, and doing this interview was the turning point for what's next. And for the people out there that can understand this, I have spirit guides, and they talk to me, and I hear them. And they told me today, oh, I'm emotional here, or feeling it, is they said that my life's never going to be the same after today.
I love that. That is so wonderful. And it's definitely not, because you're going to go do the event on May 26th at Body Studios. That's going to be wonderful. I'm sure Krista is going to contact you if you need ideas on how to do workshops or anything remotely. I think Krista's Facebook Lives and the way she does her YouTube videos are amazing. She's definitely an excellent person to work with. Now, Chris, we've been here. I don't know if you know this. I'm going to tell you this. I don't want to scare you, but we've been here an hour, okay? So, we've been doing a lot of sharing and commenting, everything. So, yes, Krista said what? I think I just put her to work. I'm like, Krista, work with Krista, figure something out, do something, make up a fee, Krista. I don't know, charge them something, help them out, get some workshops done, because you do some absolute wonderful videos, Facebook Lives.
Yes, she does.
She's amazing. Everything that Krista does is amazing. So you got a new gig. Latasha says, yes, I believe your life will never be the same again. You are awesome. Wow. Thank you. Sandy says, yay, team yes. So I guess that's the new tribe thing. Now everybody's team yes. We're part of this team yes.
That's how it shows up.
What team you get on, because our team, we just say yes, and then we figure out everything later. But again, I'm like going so far over, because I just love you. I love what you do.
Thank you.
This has been a wonderful experience, and everyone just showed all the love. But at the end of every show, what I do like to do is allow my guests the opportunity to just speak to the audience and let them know what you want them to take away from your interview.
Yeah. I want you to know, whatever you're going through, whatever you have struggled with or are struggling with, don't know how to move forward, you are stuck, you are blocked, you've been told you can't heal. I was told I'd have something for the rest of my life, Hashimoto's disease, an autoimmune disorder. And many of my clients have been told things that just weren't entirely true. And so take a step, just like I did. I had to take a step to call Sharifah to book this interview, put my money down and say, this is important, not just for me, but for other people. And so take a step, just email me, make it easy. Put down 3 things, say, I need help. I don't know how to ask for help. It's hard when you are suffering and you're stuck, it's hard to ask for help. And there's just so much, too many moving parts. There's so much going on. And you're like, I'll get to it later. I'll get to it later. My life changed dramatically. And I know everyone's can if they're willing to. Literally, it's just about showing up. It's about allowing me to guide you. That's all I ask. Just let me guide you. There's no forcing. There's no convincing. There's no making you heal. We don't step on the gas pedal and say, God, we got to get you healed. It's like, if you're ready, if it's the people that show up that work with me, they're divinely guided. Like, it's just, they're ready and it just happens. So you can find me on Facebook and just direct messenger me or whatever they call it. You can email me at that Chris@awakenandhealprogram.com. You can come to our website. You can call me, all these wonderful ways. Just take that step and let's have a conversation. Let's just start there.
I love it. I think that was beautiful. I think it was emotional. I think it was authentic. And I definitely believe that it was well said. I want to thank you for being a guest on today's episode of Ask Sharifah today, Chris.
I am so blessed. I wish I had 10 minutes to tell you how grateful I am for this. What an incredible experience. And all of my nerves that I had to show up today, they're just gone. It's just your community, your tribe, the people that showed up calmed me. Like, see, it's an energy exchange. It's this exchange. That's all we're dealing with here. We can take off all the labels. We're exchanging energy. And so believe it's possible. Start there and let me help you.
Yeah, so it's our tribe, Chris. It's our people, our family. Everyone showed up, and that's why I love doing the video cast because it helps everyone. It's not just about the guests. It's not just about the host. It's not just about the audience. It's like we all get something from it. And I know I definitely received something from it today. Lift my spirits. I feel so much more energy than I had before. So I definitely want to thank all of our viewers for watching today. As always, please share this interview because friends do not let friends miss out on Ask Sharifah. See, so if your friends missed out on all this goodness right here, it's your fault. I'm blaming you because we can go ahead and share and make sure they don't miss out. I also have to thank our sponsor, fireballapproves.com. If you are considering renting or even taking a vacation rental, you want to make sure you look out and watch out for any scam artists. So make sure it's Fireball approved by visiting the website at fireballapproves.com. If you're interested in being a guest, watching more of my interviews, or you might want to sponsor our show, visit my website at asksharifah.com. Until then, everyone have a wonderful day.